University of Cape Town launched an online high school in 2021. It became the first university on the continent to implement such a move in the secondary school market. Following its full year, we could like to now know how this program has been received so far. So let's bring in the head of UCT Online High School, Sipho Mpisani. Sipho, thank you for joining us for this important conversation. What has the response been since the launch in 2021?
Thanks, Clement. Good to talk to you this afternoon. It's been positive. I think naturally, when anything that is cutting edge, like what our school is, there will be some challenges, some glitches. But I think when we reflect on the year that we've had, we responded quite well to the challenges that we've faced. We've seen a growing number of our learner population, and we've taken the opportunity to really learn and respond to the needs of those that we cater for. And I think this year we've had an incredible start of the year, and we've started much stronger than what we did last year. Yeah.
What other needs have you responded to? I saw that you have since added the Cambridge International curriculum.
Correct. We've added the Cambridge International curriculum as one of our offerings. We launched our adult matric offering as well. But over and above that, Clement, even in our NSC offering, we've had some incredible adjustments, really responding to the feedback and the experience of our learners, just to make sure that we are continuing to improve in our offering. And just having a look at just our first term, we've now just come into our second term. And when I compare it to the start of our term last year, an incredible improvement in our results, just in the experience of our learners as well. So I think we're in a really good space.
Yeah. And what's been the experience of the parents? What kind of shifts are you seeing when it comes to parent behavior? Because I imagine, parent behavior is quite key in this kind of learning.
Of course it is. It is. I think a lot of parents who joined us last year were honestly, to some extent, taking a risk because they could not compare what we were doing to much of what is out there. And so it was important for us to make sure that we are listening and we are responding to the feedback that they give us, because we need to obviously cater for a very specific learner population, family, and we can't take for granted what they say they need, what they say their experience is. But I think you're right to highlight that the partnership with schools and parents has always been a key one. And in an online environment, that's no different. I think the success of a learner has to be equal, a partnership between the school and the parents. I think what we've managed to do really well this year is to take the parent along on the journey. I think the advantage of being online, there are many advantages, but unlike a sort of brick and mortar school where it might take more effort to have more insight onto what is happening in your learner's learning journey, much easier for us to enable that within the online context. We've launched, for example, our app, our Guardian app, which is dedicated specifically to guardians, for them to keep up with how their child is doing. The pop-up notifications are coming should they need to be aware of important and critical information. So literally the progress and the life, as it were, of their child is at their fingertips, which is an incredible opportunity that we've taken up here.
Have you been impacted by load shedding?
Of course, we have. I think being in an online environment, we've had to respond quite aggressively because we are online, right? We require our learners to be logged in. We require for them to have working internet. The laptop has to be charged. So we've had to make accommodations all of those eventualities. And I must say, I think the team has worked incredibly well to accommodate our learners. We can't ever be in a position where we are disadvantaging our learners because of things that are beyond their control. So our response to load shedding has been quite a good one. We continue to have a understanding community in our parent body and our learners as well, who take the opportunity to do what they have to do and to plan ahead. I think that's the thing that we are trying to really enforce or to encourage, is to say, plan ahead. The advantage of an online school is that there's no bell that rings at 7 o'clock and it rings at 2:30. You essentially have extended periods of time sometimes, so you're not confined within a strict timetable, as it were. So you can plan ahead within the scheduled load shedding times.
Yeah. So there have been a number of issues in your traditional schools when it comes to learner placements. In fact, in some schools, it's really almost come to a crisis. Has that in any way benefited you as an online school?
I wouldn't say benefited as such, but I think we are proud to be a viable option within a very real crisis in South Africa of learner placement. I think you obviously cover extensively on the challenges that come up year in and year out when it's time for learners and guardians to choose schools and to place their children in schools. I think we pride ourselves to be a viable option, because options are limited. That's quite frankly the reality. Is that there aren't enough brick and mortar schools that are being built quickly enough to cater to the growing need. And at UCT Online High School, we just see ourselves as a very viable option for families who find themselves with not only without an option, but we can be considered as one of the options. I think when it comes to education and the right to education, for me it goes really hand in hand with the freedom to choose, right? I think families should have the freedom to choose which school best fits them, because schools are different. I don't think, we should be comfortable with learners going to a school for the sake of going to a school. But I think part of the measure of success in how we are improving our education system is empowering more and more families to actually consider the kind of school that they want to put their children in, and to have the freedom to choose that school. And I think that the crisis hinders on that freedom. And I think it's a very real one. Our position really is, while you're considering a school, online school does cater for families who feel that they can thrive in this environment, and we are a very viable option for them.
Yeah. So you spoke about a number of enhancements that have been added. You've added the Cambridge International Curriculum as well. What else? What are you planning for the future? What else do you still want to achieve?
I think our goal hasn't changed in that we want to make quality education accessible to all South Africans, and it shouldn't come at a premium price. I think this year we are careful to change too much in terms of what we are offering, more than just to improve from our learnings last year. We've introduced, for instance, what we call a more structured flexibility, where learners have work plans that they are presented with, and we incentivize them to keep on track with their studies. I think often families who consider online school, one of the questions they ask themselves is, without kind of the supervision, inverted commas, of a body in front of you, how can you ensure that the distractions don't overtake the learning experience? And that is front and center in how we think about our model. There's various ways where we incentivize learners, and we create an environment of accountability and responsibility that allows them to stay committed, to stay focused. And I think, part of the byproduct of an online school is that there are skills that you usually only learn once you come out of school. Responsibility, the accountability, the very real problem solving and self-motivation, self-regulation. And within kind of the science of online learning, we really consider how we can make this environment, this platform work for our learners. And I think we're doing quite well in that regard.
Yeah. Sipho Mpisani, thank you for chatting to us. He's the head of UCT Online High School.